And then a little bit of a surprise at number 2. The Jets took boy Bailey out of Texas Tech. What you think about that?
I mean, that kid can go. He's a headhunter. He come off that edge. That's the first player from Texas Tech getting drafted that high. So that kid made history. There's a lot of little history of some of these schools made. One player I'm going to talk about, we're going to talk about.
And then,
he made history, made the highest.
And then probably one of the first surprises of the draft, they took Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame, number 3.
Hey,
I think it's the highest we've had seen a running back.
I'm not surprised because he's just an all-around back and can catch. Like Lee Elliott, I'm not surprised. And I think Finney did a good job, but that's a big-time pickup. And actually, the other running back went first round too, last pick.
No, it did. And then we're going to drop all the way down to the important picks. We're sitting at number 11, and my boy Caleb Downs is sitting there, and we had to go to Miami, switch picks, get them 2 fifth-round picks to go get Caleb Downs. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Caleb
my Cowboys on the playoff push.
That was a good pickup. He's undersized, but he plays smart. Most of your safeties, they are undersized, Melvin, because especially with that spread offense, you got to have DBs. I remember Muschamp. To me, I don't know if he was the first to do it, but the person I know the first to do it was Muschamp. What he did to Earl Thomas, put a corner back there because, you got to have those guys open field tackle. He's real smart. And he even taught, too. He got, his uncle, Dre Bly. So that kid got a lot of, him and his brother, both brother in the league now, too. So that's a good look.
So we got some people say he was either the second or third best player in the entire draft. He falls to 11. We go get him. We probably could have got him at 12, but we made sure we wouldn't got him at 11. Now we got the quarterback of the defense ready to start from day one.
Yeah, and the scheme that cat gonna run, he gonna make some plays.
For sure. And then we just gonna go down the Cowboy draft first because it's America's team. We know y'all want to hear about them. We go to the Cowboys draft, then we're gonna go back to some of these other teams. So Malachi Lawrence, one reason I want to go to Cowboys draft is because as much as this cat talk about my boys, talk about America's team, if you go Google Malachi Lawrence's draft, look for that logo, you go see him at the draft party, super excited that Malachi Lawrence is coming to Dallas.
Hey, we got some good
Tell us about it, bro.
We got some free good advertising. It's crazy, Melvin, because I just knew he was going to probably go probably the last 5 picks in the first round, definitely early second round, which top 5, which Texas had that pick. But I got a call the night before, and I've been hearing rumors, and hey, man, it's finna be a done deal. That's why I was blowing your phone up. You finally called me back. I say, man, Malachi going to Dallas. And, man, and they need him. You got Marcus Dixon. My man, he played for Dallas with the Hampton University D-line coach. His assistant D-line coach coached him at Central Florida. Demetrius Brim, I think that helped a whole lot. And this kid, he's definitely going to fit in. And getting that kid from Michigan in the 4th round, that was a steal.
Yep.
Actually,
kid from Michigan went third round.
Third round, my bad. Barham. That kid could go. He athletic. And I know, like you said, they're going to stand him up at times. But it was a beautiful thing, I'm proud of the kid. His dad, shout out to my man Randy, his mom, Ty. She's sweet lady. They all deserve it. Coach Street is godson. So it was just, he couldn't make it there because, he was with the Browns taking care of business. But I mean, that's what they need, and that kid is going to fit them.
So, just in case you didn't catch it, In the Tunnel had the inside scoop, i.e. we were at the draft party.
Yes.
Before I actually knew they were going to take the Cowboys. The biggest Dallas Cowboy fan probably in Houston. I knew they was going to take him, and I didn't say nothing. I didn't text nobody. I didn't talk to nobody because, end of the day, that's what we do. We're going to make sure we bring the first the information fresh and hot, and we're going to try to be there if we can. By the way, I was remiss when I started the show. Make sure you go on our social media, go on our YouTube page, like us, subscribe, In the Tunnel Sports Media. Make sure you go on our Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Check us out so you can get this content, and you might be an inside scoop. We're going to let you know where we're going to be going, and you never know who you're going to see online. So,
and you know where we at right now, historical OST and On the Rocks.
That's right. So come check us out.
Happy hour.
Come check us out for happy hour at historic Third Ward, Texas, at On the Rocks on OST. If you're from Houston, if you're not from Houston, Old Spanish Trail, right across the street from Ray's Barbecue. Come check us out. They got one of the best happy hours in town. hop in the chat. If you're not here live, hop in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know your comments. If you got some questions about the draft, you talking to some people that were at the draft, and we know a lot of people that are in the that were drafted and coaches.
And it was a lot. It broke the chart record. The draft I went about 2 years ago, and it was what, over 800. It was a lot of people at that draft too, man.
So after the number 3 pick, Cowboys wrapped up their draft with offensive lineman Drew Shelton from Penn State, Devin Moore, cornerback from Florida, L.T. Overton, the D tackle from Alabama, and Anthony Smith, the wide receiver from East Carolina. So here's my thing about the draft. Irregardless of the players, one thing that we did that we're not always good for is we drafted kids from big school and winning programs.
Right.
So Ohio State winning program, UCF winning program, Michigan, obviously they won a national championship as well last couple of years. Penn State, they've been a little down. Penn State and Florida have been a little down, but they still getting top 5 recruiting classes.
Yes.
Then Alabama and East Carolina, man, they've always produced good wide receivers.
Yes, they are. I mean, you know, they just keep a good program overall. And some of these kids stayed at the school, was loyalty at the school, could have went other places, I'm sure. Some of them boom at the last minute. They was late boomers. So, you know, and like I said, it's a hell of a program down there in East Carolina. They always done a good job.
My boy, Brian in the chat talking about how about them Cowboys? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't see nothing about them Texans in this chat, but we're going to get to them in a second.
I got the best edge rusher.
We're going to get to them in a second.
Metacom.
We're going to get to them in a second.
24 Wealth, too, baby. Chris Zapata, my boy.
So speaking about the Houston Texans, well, before we leave the Cowboys not only had a great draft, most people graded them at a B+ to an A- in the draft. They also made a trade for D. Winters, linebacker from San Francisco 49. We traded a 5th-round draft choice. When he got D. Winters, even if you don't know who D. Winters is, just know he led the 49ers in tackles last year.
Yeah, he's a baller. And I mean, y'all took him from us trade. We had a horrible draft. I won't get started on 49ers draft.
I'll tell you, that defense is going to be stout. We got a leading tackler from San Francisco last year. We got the best safety coming out in a couple of years. We got edge rushers and Malachi Lawrence who's going to surprise people.
In that nickel.
And Zion Children still be there from last year. So we got my boy Reed say what's up in the tunnel. What's up in the tunnel, fans?
Sunny side in the house.
Y'all make sure y'all hop in the chat and tell us what's up for sure. Let's go to them Texans now. Hold on. They here somewhere. They here somewhere. You got, let me see, who they?
Well, I'm going to go with their first round pick they got, which everybody said they needed a lineman.
Who'd they get?
They get the kid from Georgia Tech, Kalen Rutledge. And Kalen Rutledge, hell of a
offensive guard.
He can play guard and center. He athletic. And that head coach down there, my man Coach Hill worked down there. That guy's an O-line guru. So that kid's going to be able to come in and be ready to play. I really think he is. Him and so they also got the kid out of Oklahoma, the Nigerian kid, Febrich. He went to North Texas. He walked on. They ended up transferring to Oklahoma, and he's another kid can play center and guard. So it's going to be interesting what they're going to do with those two. Everybody been saying they need a line. They know they're trying to run the ball as much as possible. Definitely going to do that. And they got a good throwback tight end. I love the kid out of Michigan, Martin Klein. Big kid, about 6'5". He can block in the red zone. He can catch. They need that. They trying to run the ball as much as possible to keep that ball out of Coleridge's hand on big games.
Hey, y'all love to go get them big white boy tight ends, huh?
Hey, man, that's the big team.
Why we can't play tight end?
I don't care what color tight end. As long as you can play, I want to throw back in the Big Ten, Michigan, and the Big Ten, Iowa, Penn State. They known for tight ends. So that's a hell of a pickup,
man. You can't let us play tight end in the Big Ten, man. You got Tyler Warren, you got this cat. We can't go play tight end.
You got a lot of those tight ends. Brothers think they receivers don't want to put their hand in the dirt. That's where you're going to make your money at. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So Texans had a decent draft for sure. They went in and addressed their needs, which is the offensive line with the offensive guard.
Yeah.
And then they drafted another guard. And then they also got a D tackle on a couple linebackers too.
Yeah, the key thing they need on defense, they needed a nose tackle. And I know Will Anderson was excited about this pick, Caden McDonald from Ohio State. That's a huge pick. And they definitely going to need him guarding right over the center and everything. So that's a major pick. He's going to come in I think he's gonna really come in as a major impact. You know, and then you got the Ramsey kid, the safety from USC. He's a good baller. He's definitely be good. That secondary rotation. I'm telling you, Lewis Bond is a good ball player too. They picked up in the 6th round. Wide receiver out of Boston College. And they need a little more depth at receiver. And this kid can run. But I'm going to tell you, one of the main things I worry about them getting a running back, and they decide not to draft one, but I'm telling you now, the kid I'm excited about the Texans getting free agent is this kid he's from Yale University, and he can go. I watched this kid, Josh Pitsenberger.
They signed him already?
They signed him as free agent from Yale University. Strong baller, run between the tackles. He run hard, smart kid. You know he's going to get on that playbook quick because he's just an Ivy League kid. I'm really excited about them going to get because I knew they were going to get one free agent, and they picked the right one. Everybody can't get drafted all the time, but he's a kid, a late round pick, but I'm telling you, he's going to be an impact. He's going to be like Foster because, you know, he didn't get drafted. He was undrafted. You know, so I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about that.
I'll tell you, just me looking through the Houston Texans draft and then some of the other teams, maybe a C+. C+.
No,
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you got that offensive guard.
He's a guard and tackle.
He's a guard and tackle.
I'm sorry, guard and center.
Guard and center.
And the other one's a guard and center.
Other one's guard and center.
Yeah.
But you getting killed on the edges.
No, they got the guy from the Colts.
So
they picked the guy from free agent. They got a veteran.
All I gotta say is, arguably, you had one of the worst offensive lines in football last year, right? Least bottom half. At least bottom half. You had one of the worst. Give me a second. You had one of the worst offensive lines. Everybody knows it. Everybody know you need them. And you draft 2 offensive linemen. On the flip side, America's team had one of the worst defenses, and out of 7 picks, we go get 5 defensive players.
Yeah, but y'all defensive scheme, no.
So all I'm saying is, what you doing?
Because y'all defensive scheme was already messed up. You got to realize that,
y'all
too.
Offensive scheme ain't messed up?
Texans, some of the times they blocked for Cole Ridge. Cole Ridge was back there messing up. You can't blame the O-line a whole game, and they ain't that far off, and they went and got some guys doing some free agents. The Brown, the guy from the coast they got, and the guys they just picked up. So I think they're going to do a great job. It's on CJ. They're not that far off like people think they are. Because sometimes he held the ball too long. I mean, come on now. You can't.
I think they should
have. They did a good job.
I think they got a tight end. 2 more linemen.
They got a tight end, put an extra lineman in there. That's like saying you got 2 tackles on the edge when they going on the strong side. So that was a hell of a pickup. That kid, and he can do it all, especially in the red zone where they can get him. So they looking to run the ball. They trying to build a team so they can run the ball. So you looking at their third downs being 35, 34, 33, 32, 31. So you get with the play action. But I don't know if Cole Ridge can do that. But I know what they're doing, and it's smart what they're doing.
So hop in the chat. Let us know what you thought about the Texans draft, the Cowboys draft. If you got another favorite team, I know we got a couple Eagle fans that check us out. Let us know what you thought about the Eagles trading with the Cowboys in order to get a wide receiver to come out and try to beat the Cowboys. Julius, what you got?
What you got, Ju?
I just want to tell you, for the In the Tunnel fans that's in the chat, I see there's 11 people. Make sure we are subscribed to the channel. You know, it takes about 2 seconds for us to leave the live chat and go and subscribe to the channel. It might come up that, you know, you guys see us every day, but make sure you are subscribed to In the Tunnel Sports Media. Just do that for us right quick. I see there's 11 people watching us right now. Just make sure you're subscribed and come back to the live chat. Appreciate it.
All right, y'all heard it straight from the producer's mouth for sure. Man. So we got some local people from D-Town that got drafted.
Yes.
You got some H-Town people got drafted?
Yeah, you got Perkins. He dropped in the 6th round. Part of it, too, because he had an injury. And that kid from LSU, he's a good one. And they had 2 kids. One, Dylan Bell, I was talking about last week, ended up going free agent. And there's a lot of guys that might got drafted 6th, 7th round. They don't mean they're going to make the team. A lot of times you end up seeing a lot of guys, they go free agent and make the team. And I think Dylan Bell, I think that was the right team for him to go to, is the Vikings. And I know if he gonna go, he's a strong head kid. He's gonna go in there and do what he got to do from Kincaid High School. And I know my boy Keaton McCall, they're gonna be looking out for him, receiver coach there. And then you had Noah Thomas, my boy Will Thomas' son. He ended up going to Cincinnati, another receiver from Georgia. You know, they went. So yeah, and then you got the kid that got a crazy story, the Montgomery kid. He played, tried to walk on in basketball, let shoot, came back home. Mom was sick, and he went, tried to play somewhere, I think COVID, and he ended up going playing at D3 school. The Titans picked him up with Senior Bowl. That's a wild story there. Yeah, so, and, you know, you had the big kid out of, went to Rice, Ohio State. How we got drafted to. He went, and I know Dallas had the Muhammad kid.
Yeah. So you know, Dallas since we've been dominating on the high school side. You know, we had Malik Muhammad, straight out of Texas, go Longhorns. Went to Saco Cliff, went in the 4th round. He will be starting real soon in the National Football League. And then you had Jordan Tyson, originally from Allen, where Kyler Murray went, another high school powerhouse in the Dallas area. He went super high, top 4, top 5 in the draft. He will be starting in the National Football League. Then you had DJ Campbell coming straight out of Arlington Bowie. Shout out to Arlington. He got drafted in, let's see, where'd he go? He went in the 6th round out of Arlington Bowie. Then you had Amaji Reed Adams, guard from Texas A&M. You had Garrett Nussmeier. A lot of people don't realize Garrett Nussmeier, he's from Flower Mound. He's grew up big Cowboy fan. His dad
and running back out of Alabama got picked up
His dad
too.
is the offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. He got drafted by Kansas City, going to a great program. So if he couldn't go play for his dad, going to play for Andy Reid as a quarterback, that's huge. And then
Texas had over 35 players got drafted.
Yeah. And then you got
last
2 from Dallas that are notable. Anthony Hill, linebacker.
And a quarterback from Clemson.
5-star from Texas. Got drafted to Tennessee Titans. That's a great place for him to go because he's going to play for Robert Saleh, defensive coach. So, and then Eli Stores, tight end from Vanderbilt. He got drafted as well. So here's the key, though. It's not just about getting drafted. It's about where you're going.
Yeah, right.
So if you look at Anthony Hill going to play for Robert Saleh, that's huge. You look at Garrett Nussmeier going to play for Andy Reid as a quarterback, that's huge. You look at Malik Muhammad getting drafted that high, that's huge. So your career is not just about getting drafted, it's about where you get opportunity to get drafted.
Yeah, because you also had a Douglas kid end up going the 3rd round from a Hightower. My man said, shout out to Sid Douglas. His son, kid played at Texas Tech, and that was a good draft pick because, you know, they missed the cover receiver, missing Wallace, so I think that's going to be a good place for him. You know, the program, the organization got a little way to go, but I can see him getting in there early, doing some big things in Miami. Yeah.
So overall, since you were at one of the draft parties, I watched the draft all weekend. How would you rate this draft? You know, we won't know for 4 or 5 years until they get to their first contract. But overall, the talent from top to bottom, how would you rate this draft?
I rate this draft. I give this class, I give them an A because it was a lot of good D lineman, edge guys, what teams needed. And there's a bunch of good offensive linemen in this draft. And you know it was also a good DB draft. So and believe it or not, it was a good tight end draft. And it's hard to find tight ends. So I give it a B+.
So I think this draft had a lot of players that weren't projected to be superstars, but will eventually be superstars in the league. So from top to bottom, nobody really got overly excited about Mendoza. You know, he's going to be a good quarterback, but nobody's saying he's the next John Elway, the next Peyton Manning, the next Mahomes, right? So the most special athletic person coming out, in my opinion, I agree with you, and I think he has a chance to be special with the exception of where he's going, is Jeremiah Love. He's probably, from a talent standpoint, he's probably the most talented person coming out, but he's going to Arizona with a suspect line. They don't have their quarterback, and they already got like 3 running backs there.
Yeah, they're going to be all right, but I got to go back on the Indiana quarterback for you, though. Kubiak is about the system with a lot of these quarterbacks. To me, he's not that guy like that elite type, but he's smart, he's coachable, but he's playing for a good coach, going to run a good scheme. People don't realize Kubiak is going to get the Raiders back to their days. It's been a long time for the Raiders since early 2000 when we went to the Super Bowl, played Tampa Bay. But people out there, I'm going to tell you right now, mark my word, Coach Kubiak with the Raiders is going to do a great job. You see what he did with McDonald, what he did up in Seattle. So his schemes he run, it's all about putting the kid around, building a system around him. I'm expecting that quarterback from Indiana to have a hell of an NFL career behind Kubiak.
All right, so from a player standpoint, I think that's a wrap on the draft, but let's talk about a couple other things surrounding the draft. Pittsburgh, congratulations. Y'all set a record for the number of people at the draft. Pretty soon here, we're gonna hit 1 million.
Yeah.
The record was 775,000. Pittsburgh from Detroit in 2024.
Yeah, what else Detroit was at?
Pittsburgh did over 805,000 people at the draft. So that's huge. Congratulations. Maybe it's because there's nothing else to do in Pittsburgh. I don't know.
But there's one more question. I got to go back to the draft right quick because it's crazy. Do you know the last time the Rams drafted a quarterback in the first round? I think it was like 1968. You know, it was Shaq Harris. Do you think that kid, Todd Sampson, is worth? And they talking about how good this coach is, like we're talking about Kubiak. I know he's not ready right away. Do you think Ty was a first rounder? I really thought they should have waited to the second round.
So looking at the Rams and looking at the fact that they don't ever want to be in a true rebuilding situation, Matthew Stafford has got max 2 more years left. So he just came off winning an MVP, so he should come back this year unless he want to walk out on top. But I think he wants another Super Bowl, and there'll be a Super Bowl, definitely Super Bowl contender. So he'll be back this year, maybe next year. So these guys are starting to get smart. They tried the whole draft a great quarterback, throw him in there and see what we can get, right? Because a couple of quarterbacks were mildly successful.
He's supposed to be the guru. We're going to see on this. So
now they're going back to the Green Bay model where you sat behind Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre, Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers. You had Patrick Mahomes sat behind Smith.
Yes.
And now they want Ty Simpson to sit behind Matthew Stafford for a year or two and then be able to hand the reins over. So if you think about it.
I think Matthew got 2 more in him.
So that's great. If he got 2 more in him, then this cat can learn for the next 2 years, get money, and then the Rams still got him for the next 3 years because they got a 5-year contract. That's the benefit of drafting him in the first round. First rounders get 5-year contracts. So now, even if Matthew got 2 more years in him, you still got your starting quarterback for 3 years that know your system when he gets in there. So they won't be able to draft 13 over the next 2 years. So you take this kid, and it's an investment. It's an investment.
I hope the coach knows what he's doing because I would have waited because next year's a loaded draft for quarterbacks.
Plus, he's going to play for McVay. McVay does wonders with quarterbacks.
Well, we're going to see on this one.
He had Goff before that, right? Yeah. Then he got Matthew Stafford, so he got him another first-round quarterback in order to take him to the playoffs. So how about let's just talk about a little bit about it. We ain't gonna get all the way into this unless y'all hop in the chat and say y'all really want to talk about it.